are following this new residency program called Symmetria here at CERN in Geneva. We have been spending 3 weeks visiting different facilities and detectors, and also freely wandering around, but also most important, meeting researchers and exchanging with them.
I really liked this one. It was very different. I liked how they presented the idea that art doesn't have to be one medium, a visual medium. It can be an audible one. It can be so many different things. Like how they presented in this doc, how art can be found in the machinery that they use on a daily basis. You can see art being an audible experience. You can see art being anything if you're willing to look and see. And I really, really like that perspective. I love the way they edited it. And also I like the camera work and how they were able to present all of the different art pieces that we kind of take for granted.
The perspective of this piece is so interesting and specific, because it really does examine how this is an art form as much as it is scientific research, and how art and science can very much find themselves intersecting in the most unsuspecting but really interesting ways. I mean, it's one of those things that interesting is such a general word, but it is one of the best words to apply to it. It really does display how left brain, right brain, our whole brain is just so hungry for information to discover and to understand the world better in so many different facets. And this shows that kind of exploration in a way that is comprehensive, though complex. They're able to break it down into terms and phrases and anecdotes that are accessible to everyday people, and I think that's very important.
What a fascinating documentary. I have actually been really interested in learning more about CERN in the last couple of months, so I was very excited when this came across my desk. It was really interesting to be able to see the inside of the facility, but also to be able to hear and see the perspective from an artist as well as a scientist. And interestingly, I think that both artists and scientists are actually asking very similar esoteric questions in terms of our existence and the meaning behind it and how things are created, et cetera, et cetera. But they're just using different means and mediums in order to find those answers. So it was very cool getting to see those different kind of lenses.
This portrayal of art, of the sound, and bringing engineering construction along with sound was really unique, something I hadn't really learned much about. So I enjoy that about these kind of documentaries. And I really like the camera work around that contraption along with the sounds, really kind of added this poignant look at this contraption in this new light. It's just, I really like what they were going for and how it captured you. I also felt like I was just part of that tour. I was there with them. They're just kind of talking through it, walking very casual. And I just really felt that it was very welcoming to the audience watching that we're here, we're a part of it. Along with the interviews of learning more about what they do and why they do it and their passion for it, and bringing two worlds together is so cool. It just can show how creative it can be when you use all the parts that are of interest to you and how they work together. So really fascinating.
Edge, and I thoroughly enjoyed this one. The idea to marry these two things of art and everything happening at CERN, I just think is brilliant, and is executed so well here. They've got some interesting artists, of course, and brilliant minds at CERN, and they put them together in a really just creative and compelling way. There's a point about halfway through where the sound artist is trying to pick up frequencies with her antenna, and she shows a very basic frequency to the one fellow showing them around, and he's like, yeah, I know this sound, I play electric guitar, and then he turns around and you see the guy's got like a ponytail down all the way down his back. It's like, of course that guy plays guitar. I love little moments like that. That one was obviously, it was just a highlight for me. I love that. And kudos to the filmmaker for including something like that, because that's something that, you know, it could get overlooked, but I thought it was really thoroughly enjoyable moment, and the whole thing all together was just really, really enjoyable.
This one made me realize how unlikely some artists can be, and especially these scenarios and where do they get their inspiration from. It was like just amazing and very unique. I found it completely fascinating and appealing to see these different artists and their different methodologies and how they came to this place where science is at the core, and they managed to include art even there. So I really liked it.
Being able to hear from so many different artists talking about their craft just makes the audience that much more engaged and interested in their craft. It's also heartwarming to hear these people so passionate about what they do. It makes the story that much more interesting and the information that we're receiving that much more compelling. It's also nice to hear how they give back to their community. It's admirable that everything that they are receiving, they help their community with by spreading the information and just creating opportunities that might have otherwise not been there.
It's really creative and enjoyable to watch as well. The creative process unwind during this documentary. All of the machines are colorful and intricate and very interesting, and they're all built to measure what the naked eye can't see, which is pretty cool. The camera was always sharp and sound mix was just right as well, enjoyable. I really liked listening to the data transmission through Nicole's sensor. That was pretty cool. And overall, it was interesting to see the relationship between science and art, and see those two realities mix and that communication happen.